Hey guys, it's me again, back at you with another video. I know it's been a while, but something popped up last week and I just couldn't upload, so yeah, sorry about that. But this video, to make up for it, will be my first ever conspiracy theory video. So let me know if you like these, because I certainly enjoy conspiracy theories. Not all of them are necessarily true. I think some conspiracy theories are a bit nuts, but this one is it actually makes sense, and I think I actually believe it, to be honest. Just before I even get started, this is just a theory. I'm by no means an expert. Could have read something online that was wrong. So I encourage you guys to have a healthy amount of skepticism and do your own research on this thing, because I'm not an expert by any means. But basically, my first ever conspiracy theory video will be about the conspiracy theory that the Titanic is actually not the Titanic. Let me explain. So this is quite confusing because it's all really old information, but the theory basically goes like this. So back in 1909 or 1910, a shipping company called the White Star Line started a project to build 3 big ships. The White Star Line was a shipping company, passenger ships, basically like an airline after that. They were really well known back at the time. And they were financed by JP Morgan. You guys definitely know that name for sure. He's a huge person in the finance industry, like JP Morgan Chase, that kind of thing. And he financed the White Star Line's project for 3 new big, nice passenger liners called the Titanic, the Olympic, and the Britannic. I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, anyway, so the Titanic and the Olympic were pretty much identical ships. There was just a few key differences between the two. Not really noticeable. Well, they were noticeable, but it was nothing major really. However, the Olympic had many different issues. The Olympic was built first, then the Titanic. It had many different issues. They had problems with their electrical system. They had a couple of accidents. They had hit a tugboat while leaving New York, I think. And then there was this one really bad accident with a ship called the Hawk. And now there is eyewitnesses accounts that said that the Hawk was at fault and that the Olympic wasn't, but the Royal Navy actually researched into the incident and found out that the Olympic was at fault, which was a huge financial blow, scandal thing for White Star Line. And the ship, the Olympic, it was basically a goner. After the accident, it was leaning towards the left, and it was in a state they couldn't run it they had to go into repair. So they docked it in Belfast while the Titanic was being built, and White Star Line and JP Morgan were kind of screwed at this point. So after they docked the ship in Belfast, the theory goes like this, that they cooked up a little plan. So what they basically did was pay the poor people that were working on the 2 boats and say, we gotta stay quiet about this, but we're switching the boats, and make a few key changes to the boats. So what they did was switch the Titanic and the Olympic, and basically because the Titanic was this brand new, lovely passenger ship that they could get a lot more insurance of if it sank. If they tried to sink the Olympic was basically a piece of shit, and there was more insurance money on the Titanic. So if they sank the Titanic, which is actually the really fucked up Olympic ship that was leaning to the left, they would get more insurance money. And they basically cooked up a little plan to switch the 2 boats and sink the Olympic, disguised as the Titanic. So basically all they had to do was pay the poor people that were working on the boats and, switch the boats. And yes, that's kind of what happened there, but there's more obviously to the theory. They had to arrange the location and everything, and because it was just for insurance money, nothing else, they didn't actually want to kill anyone, they arranged another ship to be there at the spot called the SS Californian, which was a passenger ship which happened to have no passengers on it. What? But basically the SS Californian was gonna wait there next where the Olympic, disguised as the Titanic, was gonna sink. I'll insert a picture of the Californian into the video right now. So yeah, and basically while the Olympic was sinking, after the sinking, the White Star Line came out that they thought that the Titanic was an unsinkable ship, and if something were to ever happen, that it would take for the whole boat, it would take days if not hours, if not days, for the whole ship to sink, which we all know it did not happen that way. So they thought they would have plenty of time to get the passengers and crew off the Titanic and transport them onto the SS Californian. But this thing happened. There was another boat in between the Titanic and the Californian called the Samson. The Titanic thought that the Samson was the Californian, and the Californian thought that the Samson was the Olympic. I'll insert a picture to make it less confusing right now. So the person that was the radio navigator on the SS Californian actually fell asleep and didn't get any of the notifications from the Titanic, any distress calls or anything. So there was about 2,200 people on the Titanic and only 20 lifeboats, which means not a lot of people could be saved. If you're a man, it was even worse because they saved women and children first. So 705 people, I think, actually survived, but everyone else, including the captain, died. So now that we know the theory a little bit, let's dive into the proof, the evidence of the sinking, that the Olympic was actually the Titanic and that the Olympic is at the bottom of the ocean. So the Titanic and Olympic were sister ships, pretty much identical, but there were some few key changes. Like the Titanic had 14 portholes at the front of the ship while it was being built. Like there's photographic evidence of 14 portholes. The Olympic apparently had 16. Now, when people were photographing the Titanic leaving dock from Southampton on her maiden voyage, all of a sudden had 16 portholes, and which is a bit sketchy in my opinion. Now, the windows on the two ships were very different as well. The Titanic had even square windows throughout the whole deck, and big even square windows, and the Olympic had small uneven windows. And then when the Titanic was leaving dock, people noted that there's photographic evidence even on models, uneven small windows, which makes you wonder, doesn't it? And the positioning of the T of the under the portholes is also very sketchy, because I'll include photographs of it because I am stupid and can't explain. Apparently they had never switched to the lifeboats, which means that the lifeboats had like the Olympic symbol on them, which I don't really know, because I think we would have found that out by now, because obviously the lifeboats were saved, but I don't really know about that. And the Titanic, apparently, while it was leaving dock, people said that the Titanic was leaning to the left. A science teacher called Lauren Beasley noted that the Titanic was leaning to the left when it left port. Which the Titanic wouldn't really have a reason to be leaning to the left now, would it? Well, the Olympic was leaning over to the left, which is a bit creepy in my opinion. Doesn't really, it's a bit sketchy in my opinion. And there was a bunch of like A-list people, a bunch of A-listers that were meant to be on the Titanic, including JP Morgan himself. However, they cancelled their trips the day before because for unknown reasons. JP Morgan cancelled his trip because he was sick, apparently, but like 2 days after the sinking, or like the night of the sinking, I'm not sure exactly, he was seen with his girlfriend running around having lots of fun, so I don't know. And apparently about the SS Californian, it was a passenger ship in the middle of the ocean with no passengers on it, and it had blankets and sweaters. Yeah, that's a bit mysterious as well in my opinion. So basically what happened, apparently the US government found out about the whole thing, about the whole plan. Obviously the plan failed miserably because so much people died. It wasn't meant to be that way, but it happened anyway. So the US military found out, but they agreed to cover it up because they wanted to use the White Star Line ships as Navy boats, which for World War One, which is about to start. So they're like, okay, we're gonna cover this up, and like no one's gonna find out about anything, and no one did for 107 years. This, well, obviously the theory exists, but no one actually found out fully, and we haven't had any like confirmation or anything. But I don't think we will ever find out, in my opinion. But yeah, what's also even more mysterious, listen to this. This is honestly a bit creepy. So the theory also mentions that JP Morgan and White Star Line could have gotten influence, like inspiration, from a book called The Wreck of the Titan, which was released by some author in, I think it was 1898 or 1889. I'm not entirely sure, but it's called The Wreck of the Titan, which is about a big passenger liner that sinks in the ocean. It's called the Titan, which is very similar to the Titanic. They both had not enough lifeboats. They both struck an iceberg and sank to the ocean. What's even weirder is that they both struck an iceberg in April. Very strange. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. It's very confusing. It goes back very far in history, but I hope you guys enjoyed anyway. Let me know if I should do more of these videos, because I really enjoyed making this video, and I can make so much more, like Sandy Hook, 9/11, Denver Airport. Honestly, I can make tons. So yeah, that's it for this video. Please drop a like. Let me know what you think of this theory. Do some research on your own, because I could very well discuss. None of this could be true, but honestly, I think I believe it because it makes a lot of sense when you look at it. So basically, the Titanic was sunk as the Olympic was sunk as the Titanic for insurance money. Again, money is the root of all evil. Remember that, guys. Yeah, guys. So I'll see you next week, and bye bye.